It's now time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Ace Maker. It's the Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star. And it is on the takeoff rolls now. Shooting Star. It was the T-33 that served the United States Air Force in one capacity or another all the way out through 1997. In fact, the country of Bolivia just retired theirs in 2017. First flight of the T-33 in 1948, just a few years after the end of World War II. Greg Colyer is at the controls of the T-33, one of the world's best-known aircraft, having served the air forces of more than 20 different countries. And many well-paired aircraft still flying today of the nearly 7,000 built. With decades since its introduction, the T-33 has been flown to help train more jet pilots than any other training aircraft type. It continues to serve as an attack trainer and reconnaissance trainer for several foreign air forces. Greg Colyer, call sign Wire, called this Canadian version the CT-133 Silver Star Ace Maker, as it was this aircraft that helped train thousands of American pilots during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Inbound now from the right at 320 miles an hour. Here's Greg Colyer and the Ace Maker. Maximum speed is 505 knots, 0.80 miles, or nearly 80% the speed of sound. The P-80, serving primarily during the 1940s and the early 1950s for the United States, a turn in jet technology as piston-driven aircraft made way to the powerful jet aircraft and the arrival of the Korean War just a few years later, better known as the Jet Age. High and overhead, this flight dedicated to those who flew the T-33 and those Korean War veterans did too. Well, that's flying in 1944, and as time progressed, the Air Force encouraged Lockheed to produce a two-seat trainer version, converting a P-80 Shooting Star. They added a 26-inch section to the fuselage with a 12-inch section at the rear for balance and stability, as the first T-33 flew in March of 1948. It was from the P-80, being America's first production jet aircraft that the very first jet versus jet aerial combat took place between a P-80 and a MiG-15 in Northwest Korea, and later went on to be known as MiG Alley. Lieutenant Russell Brown, piloting his shooting star, outmaneuvered two attacking MiG-15s. He tracked onto the tail of one of those MiGs, poured out a shower of 50 caliber machine gun fire, and scored the very first jet air-to-air kill, the first of 827 MiGs to be shot down during the Korean conflict. The P-80 serving between 1950 and 1953, a big leap in technology. And in fact, North American aviation rushed their F-86 Sabre jet in production to get into combat very quickly. This airplane serving as the stepping stone, not only the F-86, but other aircraft such as the F-4 Phantom. Completing the double aileron roll at show center, let's put our hands together, everybody, for Gregory Colyer and the T-33. Greg Colyer is the owner of this T-33 and operates, in fact, multiple shooting star jets and stays busy, not only flying air shows, but working with the U.S. Air Force Test Pilot Program out at Edwards Air Force Base in California. This weekend, his jets continue to stay busy supporting the Navy's Air Test Center in Axe River, Maryland. This aircraft powered by a single Rolls-Royce steam turbojet engine, produces around 5,600 pounds of thrust. And as I mentioned to you, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 7,000 of these aircraft were produced, about 6,500 of such built by the Lockheed Company, and many on license with the companies of Canadair and also in Japan, with this particular jet being a Canadair CT-133, but painted in the colors of the United States Air Force during the 1950s when it was in full operation. A great photo opportunity coming up now from the right, as Greg Colyer has slowed the aircraft down from about 400 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour, as he has now extended the landing gear and flaps, what we like to call the dirty pass, flying aerodynamically dirty, a lot of drag, and of course a great look at this, the iconic T-33, the Ace Maker. Staying up on the wing now as he goes through yet another level 8 at show center, giving you a great look at the classic lines of the T-33. He's going to push the throttle forward to maximum power as he repositions to get the aircraft to the left and sets up for his next maneuver. Experiencing in that cockpit about 5 times the force of gravity through these minimum radius turn maneuvers at show center. If you were a 200-pound person like me, full flying change, you could weigh 1,000 pounds in that cockpit. Greg Colyer Colyer is going to continue to work his way off to the right. But judged by your round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, how do you like Greg Colyer, the Ace Maker, so far? Yes, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, in fact, in limited capacity operated the T-33 in and around their introduction to Thunderbirds utilizing the T-33 as their advanced aircraft for their narrator advanced pilots flying gigabytes back into the 1950s. With the weather working its way out, it has given Greg Colyer the ability now to transition from what is known as his low show into his high show. As we see this, the half Q&A turnaround. This T-33. Oh yeah, you're not awake yet. You certainly are now. Our friends at Firewalkers International Pyro team have been out here all day planting, well, gasoline and dynamite out there on the other side of the airport. So we're gonna see a little more pyro as the show goes on today. Just wait, we got some cool stuff in store. The T-33 went on to reach speeds later on in its career up to 600 miles an hour, cruises about 400 miles an hour. Watch now, wired from the right for this, the 4-point hesitation roll. Stopping the aircraft ever at 90 degrees of bend throughout the full 360-degree rolling maneuver. Those big tip tanks out there on the wingtips, capable of holding additional fuel for the T-33 for longer range. We're getting a great shot of that from the left. And this, Greg Colyer's photo pass. Greg Colyer and Ace Maker Airshows would like to thank Strong Enterprises, Concord Batteries, Wheeling Aerospace Technologies, Greenhouse Garage, and Airtronics. Avionics for every mission. Well, right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a look to the right, because we're about to bring to you more fire and smoke, this time in one of the most unique jet-powered vehicles on the face of the planet today. This, the double-engine on-street tube jet truck. Preparing now to unleash some 12,000 pounds of thrust. It's Hayden Proffitt II, one of our only performers who doesn't take to the sky. With over 25,000 horsepower at his fingertips. Being generated by two Westinghouse JBLE jet engines. This is arguably one of the highest performing vehicles anywhere in the world.
It depends on how you can define high performance. You got to come up a little bit more if you want.
storming his way out in front of us on the Greg's turf, onto the runway. And, well, not very sportsmanlike if I have anything to say about it, but hey, what you going to do? I'm for sure not going to go out there. And we're going to see a high-speed run by the Hot Streak 2 jet truck here in Chestnut. Now, this jet truck that we are seeing has so much power that if we ever wanted to, we could actually stand this thing up on its end like the cans, and it would accelerate vertically like the space shuttle and just keep going. This vehicle can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 1.5 seconds. It's their acceleration in an F-15 Eagle fighter jet, and Hayden can contest. He was a dedicated crew chief on several F-15s during his stint in the U.S. Air Force. But right now, we're going to be preparing for a race, wings versus wheels. That of the Ace Maker, the T-33 Shooting Star, versus Hayden Proffitt II in the Hot Streak 2 jet truck. You can see him down low and to the left as Bob Ferry, Hayden's crew chief, works to ensure all the systems are green, all the indications are right, and we're about to see this high-speed run. During this pass that we're about to see, this run, we are going to see airspeeds, and I should say ground speeds, in excess of over 300 miles an hour. And our air boss, Wade Boggs, has with us today a radar gun and will give us an identification of the speeds in which Hayden Proffitt II will reach as we prepare for it. We're getting set up now. You can see the T-33 off and to the right as Colyer works his way around to get in position. This is something that will fire across the country, but who will win this race? Well, we just aren't sure. There's many different variables, and of course, you see the stack sled down the left. We'll have a bend start to see the truck, and of course, that of Colyer will have a flying start. The job for Hayden is to catch Greg. We're going to see who takes the lead as we set up for this run from the left. The smoke is on with Colyer and the T-33. You can see the stacks are lit as Hayden Proffitt II spools up to 102 maximum power of 45,000 pounds of thrust. 3, 2, 1, we're on the roll. Together, and get it all the way up to the other line for Hayden Proffitt II on Hot Streak 2. And when you see the parachutes come out the back, Hayden doesn't dare touch the brakes on that truck, because if he did, they'd be glowing red hot. And it is about a 3G lateral experience, if you will, in that cockpit after he pulls those chutes. Going down the line now in the support vehicle at Bob Ferry. His high-speed run, approximately 48.25 miles an hour. Yeah. I'm not real sure who even took the lead on that run. It was just about a tie. Let's again put our hands together, everybody, for Hayden Proffitt II, and let that extend to Colyer as well. A wings versus wheels challenge. I've seen some high-speed runs, but I tell you, nothing better than one of the most impressive jet-powered vehicles. There's no tailgate anybody in that vehicle, that's for sure. Well, we're going to work to recover the Ace Maker, the T-33, as we continue to work our time down our show schedule, ever closer to the Thunderbirds here in just about 15 minutes' time. We again want to say a very big thank you to many of our partners who have stepped up to make this weekend possible, and I want to extend a very big thanks to Centaur, Proven Health Every Day, being a premier partner of Air Power over Hampton Roads 2025. We also want to say thanks to the Langley Air and Space Forces Association for their sponsor, Air Power over Hampton Roads, and an enduring partner to the men and women of Joint Base Langley-Eustis, home of Air Combat Command. The F-22 Raptor industry team of Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Pratt & Whitney would like to welcome you to the big show featuring your United States Air Force's F-22 Raptor demo team. A big thank you also to Indian Motorcycle in southeastern Virginia, proudly located at Newport News. Air Power over Hampton Roads appreciates your support and partnership for this year's event. Thanks to GovX, proudly supporting our military members and their families. GovX is honored to be an official partner of today's epic event. You can visit govx.com today to learn more. GovX, savings for those who serve. And thanks to the Langleys of Old Credit Union, proud to support this year's Air Power over Hampton Roads. We thank them for their generous support and commitment to our community. We can say thanks to all of our partners for their support of the 2025 Air Power over Hampton Roads Airshow.